Hi there. Let's make a sketchbook. Here's how. Let's talk about book binding, which is what we're going to do when we make our sketchbook. A lot of older books, like this dictionary or the encyclopedia, have been sewn together at the edges to make the spines and the pages pretty sturdy. We're going to do a simple way of book binding to make our sketchbooks today, and it will involve sewing. Now, don't be alarmed. We talk about sewing a lot in the art room because it's a very good skill to learn. What you're going to need for this project is you're going to need a piece of colored paper. You're going to need about 10 to 12 sheets of copy paper. You're going to need a needle. You're going to need some sort of thread or yarn or embroidery floss. And that should be it. So here's how you get started. First, you're going to take your copy paper, which is smaller than my piece of colored paper, and I'm going to fold this in half. Now I'm going to fold my colored paper in half. This is going to be the cover, and since it's a little larger than the paper that's going to go on the inside, I like to fold them separately. That way they won't be out of alignment with each other. Then I'm going to rest the copy paper in the inside of my colored paper. Now you can see how the book is going to develop. We want to put some holes through the center of our spine of our sketchbook, but we don't want those holes to be misaligned with each other. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a binder clip. You can use a binder clip, you could use a paper clip, you could use whatever you have on hand. And we're going to hold those pages together. So I'm going to take my clip, I'm going to shoot my clip across the room, and then I'm going to bring my clip back to hold my pages together. Now I'm going to take my trusty needle, and I'm going to punch a hole all the way through the spine from the center, keeping my fingers out of the way. Give that a nice wiggle so it goes all the way through. And then I'm going to punch two more holes. I want one on this side, and I want one on this side. So 3 total. There are other tools that you can use to punch holes, but what we have available to us right now is the needle, so we will just use the needle. Alright, now that you have your holes punched through, let's get ourselves a piece of string. You can use string, you can use embroidery floss, you can use thread, you can use yarn, but whatever piece you decide to use, make sure that the eye of your needle is large enough for the material that you choose. You need a piece about the length of your arm. I'm going to thread the needle. I'm going to leave it without a knot on the end. And I'm going to start sewing. Now what I want to do is go through the paper to the outside. And I want to leave a little bit of the tail here. So I'm going to hold that with my thumb. Now since my yarn and my needle are on the outside, I need to go from the outside back to the inside. And then I'm going inside to outside. And now I want to tie the strings together, but unfortunately my strings are on opposite sides of the folder. So I need to come back through that center hole one more time. Now I can take the needle off. And we're going to tie these two pieces together. Make sure that you do the tie part and make it a very complete knot, otherwise things will unravel for you. To tie your knot, you want to do the same thing you do when you tie your shoe. You want to go over and under and then put the string through the loop and give it a tug. You want to do that twice. So over, under, and through the hole. Now I have a knot. If I cut that string right up against that knot, it will probably untie. So I want to cut it a little shorter than the knot. And I can also leave a long string if I want to use it for a bookmark. Take your clip off, and now you have a sketchbook. You can use this string for a bookmark. I want to mark my page right here. Don't forget to decorate this. Make sure you always put your name on it because it's very difficult to find it later if you don't put your name on it. And that's the first project for the year. But wait, Miss Huffman, this is so plain and boring. What can I do to make this more interesting? Well, crayons, coloring pencils, markers. What about extra scraps of other papers? Here I have lots of other fun papers that I could use for my sketchbook. This is a piece of scrap paper from a scrapbooking site. This is a piece of wallpaper. How about this fun textured paper? Piece of ribbon. This paper I painted myself. You can add all kinds of these things to the front of your sketchbook just to make it a little more interesting. All right, get started.